Hi, this is Evan Moser with Deutsche Beverage and Process, Vice President Engineering. Are you somebody that's in the extraction business? Do you have a lot of plant material you need to process? Well, I'm going to go over a solution for you today, explaining how you can accomplish those goals and why now is a good time to get a piece of equipment like this. And let's just kind of go through the details of each piece of our countercurrent extraction system. So what you have here on the front end is the extractor itself. And so what we mean by countercurrent is actually inside here is 8 different columns, and those columns all have a different function. So there will be a filling column where your material that you want to extract goes in, and then the next 6 will actually be where solvent washes over those plant material that was just entered into the extractor. And then the last 2, one is a drain, so you're letting the solvent that was washing the plant material drain off, and then the last is an empty stage. So that's happening inside this large vessel here. And an important part to that is conditioning the solvent. So, we're talking about putting a dry or raw material into this extraction vessel, and then we're going to use a solvent that will pull out whatever it is we're trying to extract from that plant material. A lot of times it's an oil of some sort. So what we would want to do is condition that solvent. So sometimes you need it warm, sometimes you need it cold. And we condition it by using different types of heat exchangers. So we would either, a heating medium or cooling medium, and then that solvent would transfer into the extractor. And you can see here there's several pumps down around the base. What we mean by countercurrent is as that cylindrical 8-carriage revolver moves, the solvent is rotated throughout each column and then transported in the opposite direction of the carriage. And that's what we mean by countercurrent. So the carriage is going one way and the solvent's going the other way. And what that ultimately does is the solvent that's extracting the oil or botanical or whatever it is we're trying to get out of that material, it's basically going to get very, very concentrated, and the plant materials that's going the opposite way is going to get very, very diluted. So we're going to get the best extraction possible from the plant material. Then kind of looking further on, so solvent's going to go out one way, and it's going to go over to a holding vessel. And then the new solvent coming in that we're using to start the extraction or continue the extraction, because this is a continuous process, is going to actually go through a heat exchanger. So we're going to exchange the incoming solvent with the outgoing solvent through a heat exchanger to help with the efficiency of this process. Plant material or the extracted biomass material will actually leave through this screw here out of the extractor and then go into a drying system. So in this drying system, this is a revolving screw that is heated and under vacuum. So as that plant material enters the bottom, it slowly moves up towards the top, and then vapor is flashed off and moved over here to a condensing system. So we're recovering that solvent from that waste biomass stream, so that way you don't lose solvent throughout the process. So dry biomass will go out the backside. Now, following back what we were talking about with the solvent and extract or oil, that's transferred over here to our oil separation skid. And let me see if I can pull up a different image for you to give you a little better view of that separation skid here. So this is a little bit better angle on it. And so what we have on here is 2 different types of evaporators. So a lot of times the extract that comes out of this system is going to be pretty viscous once the solvent's removed. So our first evaporation system is just a rising film evaporator. So we're going to do a very quick flash of most of that solvent and concentrate that extract to about 95% with 5% residual solvent in it. And then from there, we'll transfer into a wiped film evaporator. So ultimately what's in there is a bunch of paddles, and we're just putting a thin film layer like down the inside of a pipe that's heated, and the wipers will wipe the pipe and create a very viscous material that gravity pushes out the bottom, and then the solvent will flash out the top. And we will condense that solvent and transfer it back into storage. Now, with a lot of these extraction type plants, you're using biomasses or materials that may have some moisture in them, and a lot of times the solvents will pick up those moistures. So, even in the evaporation process of concentrating our extract, or in the plant material process drying for the waste stream there, we may get some residual moisture in the solvent that we're recovering. So we don't want that in the extractor, because moisture will cause us to extract things or compounds that we may not want. So ultimately, we'll take that solvent and then pass it through what looks like a bunch of tall, skinny tanks here. These tall, skinny tanks are mole sieve columns. And really what they're doing is there's a material in there that will absorb the moisture like a sponge and let the solvent pass through. So as that solvent passes through, it comes out clean and dry out the bottom, and then we put it back into our storage vessel over here. So these will eventually get saturated, and the way this skid's designed and why there's several of them, not just one, once that sponge or that material inside there is saturated, we can take it offline and then go on to the next one. And then while this one's running, this one can actually be regenerating. So we can flash that moisture off, regenerate, basically like squeezing the sponge, get that moisture back out and have it ready to be running again. So these will cycle as the system's running to allow this, fresh solvent to keep coming in and not have to stop the process. So we're always reconditioning our solvent or cleaning it up for reuse back in the extractor. So that's kind of the general overview of each piece or each skid of our system. It's a great system, and it honestly right now is a really good time to consider getting a system like this. One, it's a full package. It's a full package system, so ultimately you're not just getting an extractor. There are other systems out there where you just get the extractor and then you got to look for other components to build the whole assembly. Well, the way we've done it is paired each different skid that's required to make the whole system function to give you a final extract coming out of the system, and your waste streams are actually being processed, so you don't have to look for an additional piece of equipment like that. So what's really nice about that is when you buy the system, the controls are all tied together, and then you guys get our expertise to help you reassemble it and installation into your facility. And one other good thing right now is we have a couple of these in stock, so they're priced well and readily available, so you can get this system up and running very quickly, which is unheard of for most industrial applications or commercial applications. A lot of times you got to wait 6-8 months. While being that it's harvest season, you may have crops that are available and need to be processed. You could get this up and running fairly quick. The other thing is, it's already well designed, so you're not having to think through what piece do I need for what. It's all cohesive system, which is great, if you're looking to buy a large scale extraction system. We've had several years in this industry. We've built several of these systems. They are up and functioning, which proves, the technology, the efficiencies. So, if somebody is questioning what the numbers are, we have those readily available. We also have a very good understanding how the system gets installed into your facility. So, what are your limitations? How much space do you need? What are the utility requirements? Items like that, you may not know if you were trying to build the system yourself or looking at maybe another manufacturer for each component where you would have to figure out those pieces on your own. So that's our countercurrent extraction system. It can be used with a lot of different solvents, a lot of different plant materials. So it's really a great piece of equipment if you're in the extraction business. If you'd like more information, please click the link below. Thanks.